All right, hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Giving all the praise, honor, and infinite glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA QADASH. Double honors to the beloved apostles, the elders of Great Millstone, who rule well, and who I learn from daily. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect, scattered across the four corners of the earth, you Israelite foreigners like unto a speckled bird. Shalom to you sincere Akim that's on the highways and byways, doing lessons and videos week in and week out in truth and sincerity. Shalom to you, sincere Akwat, who's listening in silence as the scriptures command you to do so. This is your brother Isaiah Allah coming to you with another lesson through the spirit and power of YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, and Lord willing, I pray this is edifying to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians are the biblical Hebrew Israelites of the Bible. The name of your God, your power, his name is YAHAWAH. Yah meaning he, Hawa meaning is, he exists, BAHASHAM is coming in the name, and who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. His true name in the Hebrew is YAHAWASHI. Yah meaning he, Hawashai meaning savior or deliverer. All praises, all honor, and all infinite glory. And so getting right into this one, brothers and sisters, and I pray, Lord willing, this is edifying. This is just news that I received off the end time headlines, prophecy pertaining to this system that these devils are about to establish and set up. And this is truly what the elite banking families want, because they understand that the dollar is diminishing. All right, the degradation of it is inevitable, and so what's going to end up happening is the transition to a central currency. All right, a one world system underneath, which they're saying cryptocurrency and stable coins. All right, which is going to lead up to the mark of the beast, the MOTB, which is the RFID chip. Okay, and so we're going to get into this article that is on End Time Headlines, and I went to the source of where this individual received the article right here off the CNBC, where it says the same thing. The Trump family says U.S. dollar needs an upgrade, and they are the ones to do it. This article, of course, is a little bit longer. For time's sake, we're just gonna read the End Time Headlines article because he pretty much gave a quick synopsis on what that main article is. But we're in this time. These talks are ramping up more and more, Akim and Akwathium. All right, of the they're about to essentially do away with this system, man, with the paper dollar. Okay, and it's beautiful, man, because that prophecy, all right, the RFID, the mark of the beast, the MOTB is the main prophecy that has to happen, all right, before, of course, the destruction of America and the salvation of the elect of the nation of Israel. And this is the one that we're harping on more and more. The Spirit has us bringing it out, and these devils are bringing out more and more and letting you know exactly what they're about to do, man, which is this mischievous device, man, as the scriptures say. Now, the Trump family says the U.S. dollar needs an upgrade to private cryptocurrencies and stable coins, and they are the ones to do it. Since the dollar was created in 1792, U.S. presidents and their families have generally been content with the status quo of effectively giving the national government a monopoly on issuing currency and outlawing the use of foreign currency. Consider the launch of the dollar, the country's initial coin offering, back when the U.S. government was hustling to surpass the dominance of the Spanish pieces of 8, then in common circulation throughout the country. When presidents have said anything about the dollar itself, it was generally to reiterate the U.S. government's strong dollar policy, because, of course, the dollar was the number one currency across the planet. All right? You take it everywhere, it had more value than any of the other nations' currency. But right now, that's flipping, that's changing. Why? Because of the BRICS. Okay? All these other nations are trying to come up with different ways to leave the dollar. All right, and to establish their own currency and their own alliance, and they're doing that now with the BRICS nation. If you don't know what the BRICS is, for anybody that's new, this is what the BRICS is. All right, the Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. That's what the acronym BRICS means, and is an intergovernmental organization comprising 10 countries. All right, Brazil, China, Egypt, Ethiopia, India, Indonesia, Iran, Russia, South Africa, and the United Arab Emirates. All right, and more individuals, even members of NATO, are starting to leave the dollar to transition to the BRICS, man, because they're seeing the writing on the wall. All right, this is why Trump is doing all these tariffs and shit. Okay, more tariffs are coming out, more and more. He's trying to increase it on it because They're trying to. That's why they're like everything was changing in society. He's trying to not allow like push this forth. All right, to allow it to collapse this system because they know that the dollar is done. So this is why they're doing everything forcefully to collapse this system in order to transition to that new beast system, man. The head of it being the MOTB, because they're seeing everything, and this is why these nations are doing this as well. They're creating their own alliance, all right, so they can have their own currencies, all right, and and their currency can have more strength and more power and more wealth, all right, so they don't have to depend on the dollar, point blank period, and that's the whole purpose of the BRICS. And Esau, all right, over here in America, Babylon the Great doesn't like that. Continuing on in the article, that continued more or less uninterrupted through 46 presidencies until last March, when a company partly owned by President Donald Trump and his family began to market an alternative to the dollar, a cryptocurrency dubbed USD1. So this is what they're discussing now, because they see that the dollar is diminishing because it's not backed by anything. It's not backed by any gold or silver. It has no value. It's a Federal Reserve note. It's paper. All right? And so now that truth is coming out, and now they're seeing that it's diminishing, and the other nations are seeing it. And so this is why they're trying to find this alternative. The main alternative is going to be that chip. On Wednesday, the president's two oldest sons told CNBC on the sidelines of a day-long crypto event they hosted why they think that should change. The value of the USD1, which is marketed as a stablecoin, would track the dollar much as the dollar when it was created in 1792 was initially pegged to the value of the then dominant Spanish silver dollar. The Trump's company, World Liberty Financial, touts USD1 as an improvement, an official U.S. currency. The firm's website brands its stablecoin as the dollar, upgraded, and it calls the coin still the U.S. dollar but for a new era. On Wednesday, the firm held the World Liberty Forum at the Mar-a-Lago, Slovakia, the club owned by the president and operated as his winter White House. Now, that what they were talking about at that, that's when I transition to this. Let's go to that point. This is what they were talking about at that World Liberty Forum, okay? And they have it on video as well, where Nicki Minaj, went up and was being a Sambo nigga in front of everybody else, and so you can look that up yourself. But the main point to be in this article, this is what they were discussing. So the event coming just before the first anniversary of the release of the USD1, okay? And let's look like real quick so you can have understanding. Web search. The USD1 is a fiat-backed US dollar pegged stablecoin launched by the World Liberty Financial in early 2025, designed for 1-1 value with the USD. All right, it is built on Ethereum and BNB chain, aiming to provide a secure, transparent, and rapidly growing digital currency for lending, borrowing, and trading. All right. So what is this gradually transition into is the RFID chip. All right, point blank period. This is what they're about to switch to, man, because a digital currency, because they know it's over, man. There's no like the dollar is done, man. The dollar is finished, brothers and sisters. Going back here real quick, the event coming just before the first anniversary of the release of the USD1 brought together financiers, technologists, television personalities, the president of the World Soccer Organization FIFA, and the artist Nicki Minaj. From a Mar-a-Lago ballroom stage beneath an enormous stylized golden eagle sculpture, which proves who this devil is. All right, the eagle being the symbol of the Edomites, man. They've always had that symbol. It's America, man. That's the American symbol, man. Okay? Which proves in the scriptures who they are, man. It proves who they are. Because that's the same eagle that's in the scriptures that it talks about, man. All right? The message to attendees was that the old U.S. dollar needs to be modernized, that the private sector is the place to drive that innovation, and that that stable coins will help taxpayers by creating structural demand for U.S. government debt. All right, because the debt is astronomical right now, and this is why they can't pay back what they owe, man. They can't pay it back, and the scriptures talk about that, man. They've laden themselves. All right, let's get that really quick. With thick clay. Let's go to Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 6, just to get straight to the point. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. When you go into that word in the Hebrew, all right, that thick clay is talking about debt. Okay, just to show you, brothers and sisters. Real quick, and Salakia. All right, it's talking about debt. See, weight of pledges, heavy debts. All right, and so this is what that clay is referring to. This is why you got to go into the Hebrew, man. All right, to get the true definition of the word. And so it's talking about debt right there, is what it's referring to. And so these devils, man, they like the debt is astronomical. They know they can't pay it back. They owe too much. All right, but they continuously keep printing more and more money. All right, and it's of course like it's not going to fix it. And so what they're going to have to do, they're going to have to do a complete reset, and that's what's about to happen. This is what we're transitioning to, Akim and Akwathium. All right, which is going to be that new system. All right, and it's going to be the MOTB is what's going to take control of everything, and this is what they're talking about, man. In fact, the world liberty backers argue the new cryptocurrency they are building is not a threat to the dollar at all, which is they're lying, but will help ensure the dollar remains dominant in global crypto finance because the USD once value is pegged to it. All right, so that's the main point I wanted in this article here. All right, because they're trying everything, but it's over. All right, the Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI is breaking this place, but he's doing it to fulfill prophecy in terms of what the agenda that these devils want, which is to chip everybody. This is what they eventually what they want to do. All right, but of course everything has to come through gradualism. All right, so to remove this debt, and it's going to reset the system, and everybody is going to be in conglomerates with this beast system with this chip. Okay, and so this is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, everybody, all right? And you notice rich and poor because they're doing away with the middle class. There's no more middle class, all right? Because it's just about keeping the rich rich and the poor poor. But everybody's going to be tested with this chip, okay? Whether you're locked up, whether you're out. This is called the hour of temptation. To receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, all right? Right hand, you can put left hand as well, all right? But that mark is the Greek word charagma, which is the chip, man, all right? The root word for that is karax, which is going to be an incision underneath your skin. It's the delivery system, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to place this chip underneath your skin, all right? And it's a branding, and then you're going to be bowing to that's you being connected to the grid, bowing to this system, all right? Point blank, period. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So you won't be able to do anything. You're not going to be able to take a part of this society. Okay, and that's what's going to happen. It's going to be complete chaos, and then they're going to come in like they are the saviors and say, we have the solution. Just take this chip. All right? You take it, you're going to be destroyed. You're going to die here. All right, point blank, period. And you're going to get a grievous sore on you, man. All right, a cancerous sore for taking this chip. And this is going to be, this chip is them taking care of your nervous system, taking control of it. Salakia. It's going to be completely taking control of your nervous system. All right, where you're not. They want control of your soul, your spirit, everything about you. That's their whole goal because they want to be the Most High. This is how they've always been. They have a God complex, and this is going to be the head of it, man. But really, this is YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI's chip because he wants to test our people to see whether you're with the Most High or with this devil, man. Here is wisdom, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast. For it is the number of a man, which is the number 6, and his number is 603 score and 6, which is, of course, the barcode system. All right? And this is going to be, it even goes into a deeper detail. That's how you know it's going to be something engraved underneath you. Real quick, let's just prove that. All right? Kai Shai stigma is the Greek word. All right? But when you go to the root right here, for stigma, check this out, Akim and Akwaklium. A mark pricked in or branded upon the body. To ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name or the stamp of their master or commander branded or pricked cut into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belonged to, and there were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the token of their gods. So they're gonna cut in your skin with the chip, And you belong to the Edomites. You belong to the beast system. All right? And this is why you're going to be destroyed here if you do that. The scriptures talk about that, man. All right? The Lord is going to allow them to get this and chip a bunch of people, and then the Lord is going to destroy their ass, man, with thermonuclear missiles. But it talks about that. When you take this, you're going to get a grievous sore. So a lot of our people are going to take it and get this cancer. This is Revelation 16. All right, beginning at verse 1. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of the Most High upon the earth. All right. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth. And there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image, which is his philosophies, his decrees, his way of living, the mind of the Edomites. All right. And the other heathen nations. Okay. And so that mark, of course, goes to the same mark, charagma. If you take that chip, all right, this grievous sore is going to be like pus. And I believe it even says it in the Greek. Let me take a look right here. Yeah. So this is the Greek word helkos. So as you can see in Strong's G 1668, a wound, especially a wound producing a discharge, pus, a sore, an ulcer. So if you take that, you're going to receive a grievous cancerous sore, man. All right, from inputting that type of chip in you, because nothing's supposed to go inside of you, man. All right, so on and so forth. In the New Living Translation, it says, so the first angel left the temple and poured out his bowl on the earth, and horrible, malignant sores broke out on everyone who had the mark of the beast and who worshipped his statue, which is his image. All right, and so you take that chip, cancerous sores, man. All right, and then at the end, it's going to be destruction by thermonuclear missiles, man. All right, and the elect are going to be beamed up, and we're going to watch you die here. All right, as it says in Revelation chapter 14. Real quick, let's get that. Revelation 14, beginning at verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast, if you bow down to his system, all right, which is NATO and the EU, okay, the revised Roman Empire, and his image, the philosophies, all right, and receive his mark, the chip, in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, all right, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, which is going to be nuclear destruction. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Because in the next chapter, all right, it says the sea of glass mingled with fire. That's the elect looking down at the destruction of America. All right. And that's us, like everybody. We're going to be looking down and giving all praises to YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, because we made it out. But the rest are going to die by that fire and brimstone, which is the nuclear fire, the nuclear destruction that's going to come upon the people that took the chip, all right, bowed to this system, and you just weren't part of the elect to begin with. Because the Heavenly Father he's going to keep the elect from bowing to this system and taking this chip. And the smoke of their torment has ascended up forever and ever, which is a long period of time, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. All right, so it's going to be a long period of time. A long period of time, man. All right, and it's going to be a painful suffering that 2/3 of our people and those that worship this system and take this chip, man. All right, total destruction. And this is what we don't want, man. We don't want to be a part of this. All right. But the Heavenly Father is going to allow them to establish this mischievous device, all right, as a test to our people. Okay. But it's not going to go past a certain point. And it says it right here. This is Psalms 21 and 11. Salakia, we'll begin at verse 9. Thou shalt make them as a fiery oven in the time of thine anger. Malachi 4 and 1. The day that cometh that burneth like an oven. That's the day of the Lord. The nuclear destruction and concentrated chariot fire. The Lord Yahawah, BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, shall swallow them up in his wrath, and his fire shall devour them. The nuclear destruction. Their fruit shalt also, Salakia, their fruit shalt thou destroy from the earth, and their seed from among the children of men. That's going to be the Edomites. All right, because they're going to be completely taken out, of course, after they serve us for 1,000 years in hardcore captivity. All right, the seed of the wicked are going to be completely done away with. For they intended evil against thee, They imagine a mischievous device which they are not able to perform. That's going to be the new system, the MOT, beginning with like the MOTB, the B system. All right, that's that mischievous device. All right, and the Lord's going to disappoint them, man. He's going to disappoint them. Therefore shalt thou make them turn their back when thou shalt make ready thine arrows upon thy strings against the face of them. Those are going to be the missiles, brothers and sisters. All right, in the silos. After that, that's why when the system is like at its point, the Lord's going to completely destroy it. Be thou exalted, Yahawah, BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, in thine own strength. So will we sing and praise thy power. So you see? And so through the Spirit of the Lord, like we understand that Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI is going to, he's only appointed their bounds that they cannot pass. All right? Through the Spirit. Job chapter 14. And so he's going to disappoint the devices of the crafty, man. All right? And the counsel of the heathen, man. He's going to make it foolish. All right, he's going to bring their counsel to naught. And then we'll end it off with that one there. In the book of Job. This is Job chapter 5 and verse 12. He disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise, which is their new world order. All right. This is what these devils want to get off the ground. This is why all these talks are ramping up and things are happening. All right. But he's going to disappoint you, devils. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. All right. He's making them their wisdom foolish. Everything. And he's going to prove that through the Spirit, because the powers that's coming back through the Spirit and power of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. All right, the Lord is about to do some miracles, man. All right, he's going to prove that their wickedness, their knowledge that they're trying to pull from the left-hand side is going to come to naught. It's going to mean nothing to Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. And we just have to have faith and stay strong and pray that the Lord is going to be with us in this time, brothers, to keep us from this devil. All right? So, Lord willing, I pray you were edified. All praises, honor, and infinite glory to Yahawah BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, QADASH, double honors to the beloved apostles, the elders of Great Millstone, Shalom to the hopeful elect.